Oh my. Oh my.
You are now tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show. Hey, you know what it is and what it do. You are officially tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show on 102.3 FM, KCAA in the Inland Empire, worldwide on the NBC Radio Network, as well as on iHeartRadio. As usual, I am your host, Jay Love, and I'm always joined usually by two beautiful ladies, but y'all know Miss Cherie Marlene be out from time to time making her little boss moves. But we got Miss Melion in the building. How you doing, Melion? Okay, we having a little bit of technicals, but it's all good.
What's up, Jay? What's up?
There it is.
I'm great.
There it is. How you feeling?
Check.
You feeling?
We good?
Yeah, we good.
I'm great. Happy
good.
Monday. That's just the day it's been. That's just the day it's been. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. So it's the 29th. Okay, it's still Women's History Month. We have an amazing guest to come on today, an amazing, powerful young woman. We're gonna get this popping. How was your weekend? I see you was doing big things.
It was such a crazy weekend. I can't believe like how fast it flew. So Saturday, remember that whole, mansion party that I was promoting and everything. I had a pool party right before I was DJing at, and it was a kids pool party. I'm not going to lie. They were like 9 and 10-year-olds, girls, all girls. She had all her friends, real popular girl. Like it was like a real nice house, whatever. And she found out I rap.
Mansion, so you're going to be real popular.
Yeah, so she found out I rap. So she, while I'm setting up, my DJ set up, she's like, "Can you rap? Can you do one of your rap songs?" And I was like, she's a birthday girl. I was like, yeah, right. Well, I got you. I was like, yeah, we'll see what's up. So then at the end, like towards the end, like all we're dancing and everything, and they're about to go in for the cake. And then I was like, per reach for the birthday girl. We got a special artist today because, I go by DJ Mel when I'm DJing.
Right.
I was like, we got Melion in the house. And then, like, she was super excited. She was, like, eccentric all night. So, like, her energy was just up and all her girlfriends were going up. And then I just performed one of my songs, ironically, the same one that I was going to perform that night at the mansion, the LA, the grown one, the grown-up one. So I just did it. And there was, like, a couple of lines that I was like, yeah, like a little edit on the spot, like, it wasn't too crazy, but plus like put your hands up. So they were so hyped. I felt like a Nicki Minaj in her early days type thing, like, you know what I mean? Like it felt good. It felt good. But the mansion party itself, it was too crazy, Jay. It was too crazy. It got too wild. This was so many people there. Somebody spilled something on the DJ setup, almost knocked the DJ's speaker down, and I'm a DJ myself, so I was hurting for that DJ. It was crazy. Right before I'm about to perform, this is a little too much. Right before I'm about to perform, they're about to get in a fight. Oh my gosh, a fight breaks out. Like, come on,
come on, people. We can't be doing this.
We in a mansion right now. Right. We in a mansion. It was a nice spot. I'm not even gonna lie. It was right in the hills, Beverly Hills, real nice. Man, right before I'm about to get on stage. And I told you that lady, she drove from the Bay to come vibe with me. She drove all the way from the Bay. Shout out to Diva. I definitely want you to meet her. She's a super powerful, dope lady. She drove from the Bay. I didn't even get to perform. She drove back to the Bay. She was going to stay another night, but she was on some high energy, so she just drove back. Crazy. Okay. So that's my weekend in a nutshell. And I had a pool party yesterday, so that saved the weekend. That was an amazing pool party, just chill. They had a slide. I jumped off the cliff. You saw that on my IG. It looked like in my head I was going like this, like I'm about to dive. And then I got into this belly flop.
I seen it.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was cool. I mean, shout out. I got an announcement I'll probably be making later in the week, but I just signed a major deal, which is about to be, real extra.
What? Okay.
So, I told y'all, man, my little hashtags is just watch me. I'm up to something.
Congrats.
But before we get into this interview, I want to just shout out you. Okay, so yesterday was Palm Sunday. For those of y'all who don't know, I know some people may not know. It was Palm Sunday. And if you don't know what Palm Sunday is, it's the beginning of what millions of Christians around the world celebrate the beginning of Holy Week, right, which is the week prior to the crucifixion of Christ, right? And so over the weekend, I was just kind of giggling because, I don't know, you heard this little controversy with the little Nas X sneaker, the Satan shoe. Did you hear about that?
Oh, I saw the little picture. I saw the little.
Yeah, it's a controversy. I guess he's about to launch. Well, it might not even happen now, but basically he did a collab with MS. I forget the name of the company. I want to say the name right, but the company is MSCHHHBH, whatever. It's MSCHF, right? Is a marketing company, and they do collabs with artists or whatever. So they were going to do an Air Max 97, but they were calling it with Lil Nas X, but they were calling it the Satan shoe, right? And so apparently there was only going to be 666 of the pairs of shoes made, right? They were going to have a drop of blood in each one, right? And they got a pentagram on where the shoelaces is or whatever, right? So it was this whole thing. So it was a big, to do.
Man, I didn't know it was that deep. Oh
yeah.
gosh.
And so I kind of was giggling because of this, right? Because the people who were up in arms about it, there's a lot of Christians up in arms, right? And so I'm just going to say this real quick because I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because it's kind of silly to me. Because here's the thing. So I'm going to speak to Christians real quick. The rest of y'all could tune out for 3 seconds, or you could just listen to me rebuke some Christians, right? And here's the thing. Theologically speaking, right? We ain't got nothing to fear, right? If you're a person of faith, it's not a big deal because here's the truth. First of all, my point number one is if y'all want to be mad at the Satan shoe, y'all should have made, because this same company not that long ago did a Jesus shoe. Y'all should have made the Jesus shoe number one. That's first of all, right? If you want to complain about the Satan shoe, right? Number two, this tells me that y'all don't really know what you're reading or what the faith that you believe in, because there's no power in that for those who are people of faith, right? And the truth is, instead of chastising and being like, Nas X is going straight to hell and Nas X is the devil, all this stuff, like, yo, I mean, why not I'm just speaking from the faith that I understand and the theology that I know and what I read and everything, is pray for the brother and be like, yo, I would extend my arms to him. I don't want the shoe personally. I think the shoe is ugly. But you know what I'm saying? I still would open my arms and say, yo, man, hey, Nas X, got love for you. Guess what? Jesus still loves you regardless, even if you want to do the Satan shoe. You know what I'm saying? And the truth is, it's only a big deal because he's popular. If he wasn't popular, nobody would be talking about it. You know what I mean?
I 100% agree with you. I feel like if the believing in God is bigger, like having faith in him, you can't be lukewarm. Like if you really believe in God and his power and he wins at the end of the day, you're not scared. But I also see, I know, and then they're praying too as well. Pray for him and our culture, our society in general, this generation. Pray for them. But I also feel like I don't really like how it's marketed as as a cool thing. Let's worship. It's you know what I mean? Whether it's fear or the Illuminati or whatever 666 and it sells, to me it's like, oh, now y'all playing. Now y'all think it's funny though. Like,
right. And see, but here's the thing. The truth is, this ain't the first time something like this has happened. People, I'm a little bit older than you, Melian. And there was a time when, in the 80s, when every heavy metal band had a pentagram on their cover and everything was shout at the devil and the devil this and and everyone thought like it's the end of society because they would have big devil things at their concerts. Guess what? Where are they today? You know what I'm saying? And I could go on this whole thing about, I go down the list of like overdoses and suicides and all the things and destroyed lives and but at the end of the day, here's the truth. The real power is in God. Like this thing will come and it will go. It will have no real reflection, on society. And here's the truth.
I can argue that it's art too. You know what I mean? Like it's an art form too, as an
right. And not even that, but I would say the more parents, because here's the truth, historically speaking, the more parents and people like authorities trip on it, that make kids want to go after it more because it ain't sexy until your parents don't like it. Right. And when your parents
that's what I mean about like this whole marketing thing. It's like, to me, it's like, okay, I guess like that's how they're marketing it, making it cool, making it the cool thing.
So the moral of the story is whack, it's ugly shoes, whatever. Plus, everybody was like, boycott Nike. Really? Okay. First of all, Nike is suing the company MSCHF because they didn't really get permission from Nike to do it. But usually, what they do when they do the collabs is they'll buy the shoes from Nike, put it together, collab with the artist, and then they'll sell it at a higher price. But Nike wants nothing to do with this one. Nike's like, nah, we ain't got nothing to do with it. We didn't make it.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
You know what I mean? So Nike's like, nope. So for those of you who in advance wanted to shut down Nike, do your research. Quit just popping.
Well, they were just listening to Nike's slogan, just do it. So they were
Plus, here's the truth. You don't know what company, because I'm telling you, throughout my life, I've seen there was times when Procter and Gamble was the Antichrist. You know, this company was the Antichrist, that company. Like, yo, here's the truth. If you believe in God, quit tripping. Because ain't none of that got any precedence over your life. You feel me?
I mean, you could believe in, I mean, it's kind of, I could see it though, because you could believe in the Lakers. You really believe in them, but like they could flop and do something. Fourth quarter, we down 18, like that kind of, you know.
But let's keep it real. What's the difference between, because let's be real, in the eyes of a perfect God, right? If you want to get theological, what's the difference between Satan worship and idolatry of the Lakers and the Dodgers and, you know, the San Francisco, you know what I mean?
I know my example. It's not, I don't idolize them. I believe, you know, I think they're a dope team. I believe, but I don't idolize.
They put up shrines in their house. You know what I'm saying? They put up shrines. That's idolatry.
I don't pray. Do they pray to them like dear LeBron?
You don't have to pray to something for it to be an idol in your life. You know what I'm saying? If a Laker
you're asking the difference. You're asking the difference between, you know.
Right. I'm saying if a Laker game is more important than church, you know what I'm saying? If a Raider game, or you know what I'm saying, whatever.
I'm not saying more important. It's probably a little more rare if you get tickets.
So, anyways, that's what's up with that. I just wanted to talk on it real quick. I didn't want to spend a lot of time. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have a really special guest coming on today. I call her a revolutionary. I call her a hero, or I should say a shero. Even at her young age, I look up to this young lady. I think she's amazing. I'm gonna tell you all about, and you know what? I'm not gonna say her last name because she told it to me a number of times.
Don't ruin it, Jay. Come on, don't ruin it.
No, because it's an Asian last name. You know how I be doing with them Asian last names. And so, and so I'm just gonna say, this is my girl Miko. Miko, how you doing? Welcome to the revolution. How you doing?
What up, Miko?
Okay, Miko, say your last name. Say your last name.
Yoshikawa.
Yeah, Yoshikawa.
Yes.
I got
Yoshikawa. Hey.
Yeah.
Is that Japanese?
Yes.
Miko?
Yep, it sure is.
Yes.
I am a son.
You speak Japanese?
Not so much. I used to a little bit because I really wanted to talk to my great grandma, but she ended up passing away when I was like 10, and I stopped using it. So I mean, I could kind of order food, but
that's important.
Right? But now we're
that's important.
Sansei. I'm a Sansei. That means just third generation from the internment camps. So that's my mom's side.
See, that's super deep. We're gonna get into that, but like. For people, okay, because I want y'all to know, like for real, she be doing work in the community and all. So can you give us just a quick list of stuff that you do in the community locally where you're at in the Bay?
A quick list is we do a lot of murals everywhere and anywhere.
Who is we? Say the name.
My organization called Stories for Solidarity. We do murals kind of all over. We've been down where y'all are at. We're up in the Bay. We've kind of done work a little bit everywhere. It's all free or donation based to start. That's how we kind of started out. That's one of the biggest things that we're known for. We also host open mic events. We also do a lot of mutual aid and partner with mutual aid groups because mutual aid, because they don't follow like the 501c3 system, a lot of times they can't get as much funding as like a nonprofit would, but they do just as important work, if not more important sometimes. So we tag team with a lot of different of those all over. The Hood Squad from like East Palo Alto is one of the people we partner with. The People's Coalition down where y'all are at are another big group we partner with and try to help and send supplies, and they all do amazing things independently. Me as an individual, I volunteer a little bit of everywhere. We just hosted a chalk art mural for a solidarity vigil for the victims of the Atlanta shooting last Sunday. This Sunday I was supposed to help with a march, but we had open mic Saturday night, so I was dead. That wasn't happening. But that's a quick little mini list. We like to help. We like to volunteer. Anything that empowers people of color, specifically BIPOC peoples in the diaspora. We're all in.
And so what is BIPOC for people who don't understand?
Black, Indigenous people of color. In our wording, I put so Black, Indigenous, and people of color, because Black, Indigenous experiences or Black or Indigenous experiences are different than the collective people of color. Right. And instead of kind of lumping it all together, we just like to kind of validate both experiences by adding the and in between.
Well, look, because here's the thing. I love you so much because you seem so fun and carefree, right? Because usually people who like are community workers, whatever, like not always, but oftentimes they tend to be like real serious, right? Like real serious, right? You know, what gives you your sense of freedom and cause all at the same time? Like you're fun, but you're serious. Like, where did you get that from?
Trauma. No, but for real, just standing strong in my purpose and standing strong in my spirit, you know. And I feel like people who've been through a lot of stuff or have seen a lot of stuff, it's like if you don't laugh, you cry, you know?
Right.
So it's like I just keep it moving because I just know in my spirit what my purpose is. And I know, like, you know, whatever hard times might be happening now, eventually I'm going to get whatever I've manifested. I'm going to get what I'm working toward. But I can't. I'm also a Cancer, so I'd be hecka emotional all the time for no reason. So if I, you feel me? So it's like if I get too in the I can't get nothing done. So I gotta laugh it off, do what I gotta do, and kind of go back to it.
Well, first of all, you're so amazing. You're like,
go ahead, Milian. All I was gonna say was,
first of all, my Cancer sister.
Yes, out here. Thank you, Milian.
What made you start Stories for Solidarity? What made you start that?
The people around me, it was an accident. It was a happy accident. You know, my man, Bob Ross, RIP, happy accident. I lived where I live in downtown San Jose. I lived like right by where all of the rioting and craziness was kind of going down. And I also live right next to the university I go to, San Jose State. And my friends and I, we were like, it was kind of scary. I have a 3-year-old. And we actually went back to my mom's house on that first night because all you hear is just, you know, sirens and helicopters and like these little like smoke bombs not bombs, but like the little smoke from the rubber bullets and everything. And you're just kind of like, what the hell is going on? And you just hear these screams and people were just like running through our neighborhood and just like, I didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what can I do? And being that I'm also very passing, I try to be mindful of the space I take up when it comes to like my Black community and my Black people, is because I'm very white presenting. So I was just like, damn, it's not like I can be all up in the front lines. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like people are gonna look at me like I'm crazy, you know? But what can I do that's relevant to me? And that's art. And so I just called one of my friends and I was like, hey, like, downtown is torn up. I see all these boards, but what I really see is like, these are some big canvases, you know?
Right. Okay.
Like, how cool, like, you know, and my friend happened to work at one of the restaurants that got torn up, probably the worst that I had seen. I mean, almost every window bashed in, people tried to like steal stuff. It was wild. And they're Latinx, immigrant owned bakery. It's called Cinnaholic. That was right there on the corner. And so I called my girl that night and I said, hey, like, do you think they'd be down for us to paint and kind of deck it out and just help them out a little bit and just see? She was like, yeah, sure. So the next day we started painting. And then I happened to go grab a coffee from Phil's around the corner because I'm a caffeine addict. I think most moms and single moms are. I have not met none who don't. I'm trying to get to that level of wholesomeness, but I'm not there yet. So I walked around the corner to grab some coffee, and the co-owner of the entire Phil's franchise happened to be there. Wow. Because it's Phil, his son, and the son's best friend, Nick, and that's who I happened to meet. And so he oversees like that one store, but he helps facilitate the entire franchise. And I was just like, hey, like, you guys have some boards too, you know, like, we're around the corner. You might have seen us. Do you guys want something done? And they're like, actually, the owner's right there. I didn't know they met like one of the owners. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, sure. Like, hi. Like, I'm that kind of person, especially when it comes to purpose. Like, I'll talk to anybody. I'll go, like, I don't care. So I was like, sure, where's he at? You know, I walk up and like, hey, we're doing this. He didn't ask much. He was like, yep, do it. Do whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. And everybody loves, not everybody, most people love Phil's Coffee and like what they're about. And so after that, instead of us reaching out to businesses, people were flooding in from all over. People from Atlanta, muralists from all over like the world down near were trying to work with us. And we're like, hey, like we believe in this. And then I quickly reached out to like, I got cousins in Nashville. I had a couple friends down in Houston and Dallas. And I was like, hey guys, like, this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And then little do you know, like there's boards like all over, you know what I'm saying? And it was kind of cool to see something as like traumatic and an empty canvas and turn it into something that directly reflected the stories and the experience of both the artists and the, you know, immigrant or Black and brown store owners, which was really cool to kind of incorporate both. And that's how you really build community. That's how you really care about people, is when you stop for 2 seconds and say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to just go up to him, see what's good, and see if anything good can come from this. And little did I know, like 3 days after that, this one lady who owns like 6 blocks, both sides of downtown San Jose, like 20, 30 businesses, this whole, like a third of the downtown, calls me. And she's like, yo, didn't say yo, but she's like, hey, we really liked all the boards. You know, we need this in San Jose. And she was one of the presidents of the Downtown Business Association or something like that. They're like, yeah, like, so we put a beautification grant out there for y'all to like apply for. And I'm sitting here like, we're not a business. We don't have access to like that grant you created. That's great. Right. And we are just a bunch of homies who wanted to create art. That, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't really help if you're not within the system, you know? Right. So, I like to think of myself as productively petty. So I'm like, oh, y'all going to create a grant that I can't access? Like, let me see how I can access this. Right. So I called everybody in any position of authority that I knew. And I'm like, I worked for nonprofits most of my adult and teenage life. So I'm like, I know nonprofits can apply for grants. How do I do that? And literally that next night, I was able to get a fiscal sponsorship so we could operate as a nonprofit without assuming the full responsibilities. And I applied for like our own status, which takes a couple more months or whatever. So in a span of a week, we had started painting on about 50 boards, became an organization sort of overnight, and were able to fundraise to get all the paint supplies and everything else for the artists who did it all completely out of the love they had for the peoples that they felt were not being represented at this time.
Wow. That's super dope and inspirational, for real.
Yeah, thanks. That's a Spark Notes version of it.
For real. Like, how old are you?
I was 24 when I started Stories, and I'm 25 now.
Wow, that. Wait, Million. We lost Million. Well, anyway, she'll be back and say we having some. We got technical difficulties sometimes. But let me ask you this: who would you say are some of your influences in terms of like, because you are so, for being your age, you remind me a lot of me when I was younger. Like you such a revolutionary. Like who are some of your influences? Like who moves you? Like who I always joke and say that I'm the illegitimate son of Fred Hampton. Like who are some?
That's not a bad one.
Who are some of your influences?
To be honest, I didn't really start to become more influenced until I got to college. I didn't really. It sounds corny, but there wasn't really like me, honestly. There wasn't anybody who is, Black, white, and Japanese. There wasn't anybody who was a female who, had a kid super young and was trying to figure it out. But when I got to college, I've always been a huge history nerd and a reader. I started to understand how, like, it sounds corny, intersectional, which was also coined and created, that term, from a Black woman, which many people like to use and don't give her credit. So just saying, like, there's so many intersections of like what is leadership, and how can I kind of take a little bit from this person and that person that sort of emulate who I am. So there wasn't really like one or two people, but a couple who like I really resonate with are Yuri Kochiyama. You know, Malcolm X she died, or she didn't die, but he died in her arms. She's Maoist and just an amazing Japanese revolutionary, which nobody really talks about. Asians in, you know, civil power and leading people and whatnot. Right. So her and Grace Lee Boggs have done amazing stuff. Margot Okazawa Ray is one person a professor who teaches at San Francisco State I met recently, and she is also Black and Japanese, and she changed my whole perspective on what identity and being, you know, mixed. I don't like saying mixed race because race is socially constructed, but like mixed ethnicity, you know, is, and how militarism and imperialism and capitalism all play into that. She's also a super dope feminist. And her dad was a Black military guy, and her mom was living in Japan. So just, she's an amazing person who I love. Another recent kind of like not discovery, but person that I have resonated with a ton is Dr. Yaba Blay. Okay. She wrote a book called One Drop, and it goes into how, like, even to this day, that the one drop law is literally still a law. So, like,
you know, and it's funny,
you know, and people don't realize. And she goes into how, like, does this definition of the one drop law still serve Black people? Like, why has nobody talked about this? And then she goes into like the specifics of what they called, you know, people who were 50% Black, 25% Black, you know, your great grandma was Black. They had a name for it. And she talks about how, you know, the Black community sees those people, and just her as an individual. She's African. She's from Ghana, or excuse me, her parents are from Ghana. She was a first gen here, and she had a kid in college from a relatively, you know, upper middle class, you know, African family. And she talks about how, like, her struggle of being pregnant as a sophomore, and like, she just is amazing. And I felt that, because I was like, damn, like, that was me. Like, if this woman could do all of this amazing stuff, like, so can I. And that's also where Mama Shay comes into, Shay Franco Clausen. She's one of a big mentor in my life and my daughter's life, and has done amazing things for us too.
Yeah, matter of fact, Shay was she was babysitting your daughter when she was on our show. So we got this. Your daughter actually got a cameo on the show.
Oh yeah.
So, but listen, I gotta dive into it. Let me ask you this, because I know Million probably gonna ask you, you know, with all of the things going on across our country affecting Asians right now. But I gotta ask you myself, and we're gonna use the term mixed. You know, I'm mixed. Right. Me and you have talked about this. Me and you have talked about this before. And so, but, you know, did you have, because we all see those of us, because there's like, I feel like we have a kindred spirit. Those of us are mixed because we have this journey that only we can understand. Right. Like, did you have those issues of, like, you know, proving your Blackness and proving your Asianness, and you're not Black enough, you're not Asian enough, you're not, you know, white enough, you're not. Did you deal with those things?
Only every day of my life. You know, until I turned 25, and I try, because I know I'm hypersensitive to emotions and all that. I try to be very research based. So it kind of pulls me out of all those irrational, like, oh my God, nobody wants me or likes me, I don't fit in anywhere. So I researched, like, why, how come I feel this way? Why is that the case, et cetera, et cetera. So until I turned 25, I spent my entire life trying to be what people perceived of me, depending on what space I was in, right? And that's kind of like where I feel like a lot of people who maybe aren't even mixed, but are, you know, from different classes within the same community, do that kind of code switching, do that, you know, mask of, that's what they call it in like social theories, like being able to put on your mask of whatever it is I needed to be to survive and feel accepted in that moment.
Right.
You know?
No, I completely get that. And so, you know, and the crazy thing is, well, first of all, let me say this before I go any further. There's actually some folks, some of our faithful listeners and followers, viewers, they want to know how they can support your whole situation. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pay some bills real quick, right? We gonna come right back, and you gonna tell people, because look, if they want to support, let's let, yo, come on, girl. You know, I know what's up with
I need it.
that whole nonprofit grind. So let's, we're gonna cut to a couple commercials. Y'all stay tuned. We got the beautiful Miko Tisha Kamaraka Kama. I don't know.
That's all right.
Yosha something. It's the Yoshas. The Japan Yoshas. Okay, whatever.
Everybody calls us Yosh. It's cool. You could just say
Yosh. So we're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back, and you guys can find out exactly how you can help this young lady continue to do the amazing work that she's doing, not only in the Bay, but in other parts of Southern California.
Exotics Wellness. From massage oils to bath bombs, from drops to pain bombs, everything you need in exotic CBD wellness. Go to www.queenexotics.com. That's www.queenexotics.com or Queen Exotics on Instagram.
Do you have a business that requires heavily upon your clientele base having access to cash, like a dispensary or a barbershop? Or maybe you're in the market for one of the new cutting-edge Bitcoin ATMs or self-serve kiosks. Whatever your ATM needs, reach out to my man Guy, the ATM Guy, at 855-4ATM-GUY. That's 855-4ATM-GUY, or online at www.atmguy.net.
Without even lifting a finger, achieve the body of your dreams. You're perfect the way that you are, but if you've been struggling to tone up and love your body, there's something that can help you get there. Put down the box of chocolates and pick up a wrap. No, not that kind. A wrap that you can wear. That's Gym in a Box. The Core Wrap, the best body shaper anywhere. It features ultimate performance technology, Tone Up 15 to firm tone and strengthen your abs as it shapes your waist. That's Gym in a Box. Go to gyminabox.la to get yours now. That's gyminabox.la because you deserve your dream body.
Yo, welcome back. If you just tuned in, this is the Revolution Radio Show on 102.3 FM KCAA. Also worldwide on the NBC Radio Network and on iHeartRadio. We have a very special guest, Miss Miko Yosh.
Miko.
Yosha something.
Miko Y.
Yeah, Miko Y. So real quick, because I know Million got a couple questions, but if anybody wants to reach out to you so that they can, because like I said, we got a couple of comments already. They were like, "Yo, how do we support her? How do we?"
I love it.
How can they get at you on that?
Me personally, I actually am, like I said, my website should be up and running by this weekend for me as an individual and everything that I do. For stories and what we're trying to build with there. Yep. You can hit us up on Instagram, Stories for Solidarity. I run the page. I kind of do a little bit everything because that's what happens when you're starting out. You got to be the CEO, the CMO, the CFO, and everything in between. So
absolutely.
Reach out. It'll most likely be me. We also have our website, storiesforsolidarity.com. We have a little donation tab and stuff like that as well, in terms of supporting. If you're ever in the Bay Area or even, wherever you're at, if you're trying to have an open mic or you want something, not that art isn't meaningful, but intentional solidarity, art, etc., expressing yourself, telling your story, we can facilitate anywhere, so yeah, any of that. Yep, perfect.
That's amazing. I'm gonna be going to the Bay real soon, so I definitely would love to stay connected. With everything out there going on. So speaking of everything going on out there, how is it going on out there with the whole? Because I know you're part Asian, the whole Asian hate crimes going on and all of that. How do you feel about that? How's the community out there? What's going on out there?
Thanks. So when I said we were gonna be spilling tea, I didn't mean all of it. The pipe and hot stuff. I mean, first and foremost, kind of what Jayla was saying, be mixed. I can't really speak for anybody but myself. I don't represent, all Sanseis. I don't represent, the Japanese diaspora per se at all. I can only speak from what I've experienced being at some of these rallies, what I've experienced from the organizing standpoint, what I've experienced in terms of trying to kind of collaborate. And I've been sitting on this question of everybody want to be in solidarity now, which I'm like, okay, cool. But half of these people don't really know what that means, nor understand like the work it actually takes, right? So for me, whenever I go into a space, I don't have, you know, when I bring my peoples, it's like I bring all of my peoples, I bring all of myself. And when I'm standing in, you know, and when I'm standing in predominantly Asian spaces, I'm still othered, you know? So even though aesthetically, especially because, you know, like Hapa people and stuff, like they kind of just, you know, like Jayla was saying, you come in all shades and looks and everything else. So it's kind of like you can kind of spot each other out, you know, like, oh, she's mixed, or like she's Hapa, so like it's cool or whatever. But specifically to, you know, stop Asian hate, and for whatever reason, people keep on bringing up the BLM in conjunction with the Asian hate, and you can have one and the other without co-opting either or having you can choose. So that's been my battle out here mostly. And when I'm in these spaces, I am reminded very quickly that while people might see my Asianness, I am very quickly reminded I am Black before anything else, right? In these situations, that one drop matters. Because if I'm standing, hey, I'll tell you what, when I'm standing in a sea of people, this happened just last Sunday. When people call me out, let's do things, let's create in solidarity, right? For whatever reason, we're kind of like the go-to, you know, that's
a blessing, though. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah,
it is. But I am just as hood as I am hippie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people try me sometimes, and when I'm in those kinds of spaces, and I'm reminded how, you know, Black I am in terms of experiences, right? In terms of being systemically different from other people, in terms of, you know, my dad got shot in the face by cops, y'all's didn't, and you're sitting here trying to tell me how to feel. Wow. And you think you can because I'm not as dark as you, or you think I can because I look like I'm interested, you know, I'm all Asian or whatever. This weird stuff people try to box me into gets frustrating. And when
that was going to be my next question. How does being, you know, tri-racial affect your journey? How do you feel like it's different or more difficult or more interesting?
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. You know, it's like a big chunk, like I said earlier, a big chunk of my life I've spent seeking validation, having to, you know, when I'm in, you know, like for all the BLM stuff or whatever, and starting my organization, I'm like, nope, like I'm putting like my Black people's first or whatever, because I know from experience what that feels like, although I can't relate to every experience. And because I can't relate to every experience, it's my job to walk through those doors and open up those conversations that others can't even engage in because they're darker, because they're full Black or whatever people like to call it per se. So when I'm in those spaces, when I'm in Asian spaces, and I'm there to be like, finally, like I can get everybody I love together and let's talk about what it is. And you're screaming all lives matter in my face. You're waving American flags. You're saying Asian lives matter. You're saying we're all equal, chanting it, right? And I'm there in solidarity. I was reminded I was Black very, very, very fast. And I was just talking about it with somebody else about how I couldn't handle it. I was enraged. I was hurting. And I'm like, dang, like these people look like me. And little do they know I'm standing right next to them and they don't want me here. And I have to live in that. And I had to process it. And I was like, damn, this is what my cousins feel like every day. And I couldn't handle it for a few hours because I was so upset. And I'm not even visibly Black. You know, racially, I would be white or Asian or whatever non-Black other you want to select. People even think I've got Hispanic or something before, you know?
Yeah.
So it's hard to live in that space.
You know, I definitely get it. And I think that's where, in general, for all of us, the key is really understanding who we are. You know what I mean? Like who I am, period. Who you are, period. And here's the truth. You're a queen. You're an amazing young woman. You feel what I'm saying? And there's richness in all of who you are, in terms of there's richness in your Blackness. There's richness in your Asianness and in your what I like to call caucasity.
Yes, the caucasiousness that persists.
You know, there's richness in all of that. You know what I mean? And here's what I tell, and I'm just gonna give this one to you for free. But this is what I tell all my biracial, mixed racial, whatever you want to call it, you know, kids around the world, is that, you know, I don't say I'm mixed anymore, right? I say I'm 100% Black and I am 100% Latin. You know what I mean? And I found out I'm indigenous, so I'm 100% indigenous, period. I'm 100 of because those experiences are unique to, you know, mine. You can't take it from me. You can't tell me. And so although my journey has been different, right? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, I'll tell you a quick funny story. In high school, there were so many of us that were mixed that we started a little crew called HBC, the half breed crew. And there was like 22 of us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, somebody, you know, everybody was mixed with something. So you know, but it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? And so I just want to say that I salute you, because there's not very many people of your generation that legitimately are doing the work in terms of leadership, right? Like, I mean, I don't want to be the old guy. It's like, oh, this generation, you know what I mean? But it's refreshing to see that, you know, I know you're not the only one, but it's beautiful to see you actively doing what it is you're doing, right? And so I want to encourage you to keep doing it, because, like, there's girls who need to see you, even though, because here's what you and I can relate on. And I make these jokes all the time, but they're not 100% jokes. So you get what I'm saying? Like, it was hard to find someone who looked like me that I could look to, you know what I mean? And then when I would find them, I'd be like, ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be sure. You know what I mean? And so it's important, right? Because unfortunately, most of the time you can't be what you don't see. So the more you're out there, the more your profile gets bigger. That's why you need to get your profile bigger, because there are little girls that look like you, whether you see them or not. They will see you, and they will find in you that, oh, if she can, I can. Right. If she is, then I am. And so that's a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful thing to carry on your shoulders. Like, you know, I want you to know that you do represent everyone that looks like you across the diaspora, from the blackity to the blackest to the most Japanese Asian samurai on the planet. You know what I mean? That is all you. So, you know, so let me ask you a silly question. Let me ask you a silly question. Okay. Do you prefer sushi or barbecue?
Barbecue. I don't eat sushi. I don't eat raw meat. Nothing. Mm-mm.
Not even the fake stuff like the crunchy roll?
I'll make it. I don't know.
Because I say I eat sushi, but I eat like crunchy roll, shrimp tempura.
I like the vegetarian sushi, but that's mad disrespectful. Like, I can't. Like, I'm terrible for that. Like the sashimi or like anything like the fish eggs. Look, I can't. The unagi, that's not me. No.
Okay.
Of barbecue, mac and cheese, and greens over sushi any day.
Okay. Here's another question: Mr. Miyagi or The Last Dragon?
Which one?
You might be too young to remember The Last Dragon. I said Mr. Miyagi or The Last Dragon. That was a black kung fu character.
Right. I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
So you might be too young for Mr. Miyagi too.
No, so Rick Noriega, he actually went to the temple that my family is like from. So right. I gotta go with Mr. Miyagi.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Miyagi's a triple OG though. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so here's for the white side of you.
Oh shoot.
You ready? Toyota or Cadillac? Because that's American.
I have owned only Toyota, except for last year I got a Mazda. So I'm not very Caucasian. I'm cool with literally like two cousins from my white side that like I honestly, they're all the way out in Tennessee. So
of course they're in Tennessee.
Yes,
of course they're in Tennessee.
But why all I can say is all my peoples go hard. You know, like the Japanese side is from Japan, the white side is from Tennessee, and then the black side, I believe, my grandparents are
South
from
Carolina.
No, Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah, something like that. They moved from the South to Detroit to California.
Wow, they was real black. They went, because when you go from the South to Detroit to
Yes.
California, then you really, you really doing some things.
I'm very well cultured. A little bit of everything.
So when did you become aware that you were different?
I was in third grade. I remember it very vividly because it was traumatic. So Alicia Keys, I do performing arts, and Alicia Keys is one of my favorite artists ever. I played piano at the time, so I'm just like, and she was mixed. I was like, yes, like this is my girl. And so my mom took me to get braids, and I went out to Hayward in the Bay Area. It was her friend's friend who ran the braid shop, and I got him done. Oh my gosh, you could not tell me anything. I thought I was the coolest. I was so like hyped. I was feeling myself. Like I was so juiced. My mom and dad felt very strongly about providing me with more opportunities that they had. And my dad's had a scary, very kind of case study life. So they put me in private school. So after I got my braids on, Monday, I'm rolling up to my little Catholic school with, I literally just took it out today, but I got the spiral cornrows.
Right.
I was feeling myself. But it was cold. So I had I think a bandana on, but we had to wear uniforms. So our uniform was, of course, red, white, and blue. So what did I pick? I picked the red bandana. And I had never,
Shout out to the Bay Area.
So I picked the red one. So I go to my school, bougie private school in Saratoga, and I showed up with my spiral cornrows and bandana. I walked in and I got flamed up. I was roasted so bad. I was crying. And then I got sent to the principal's office because I was wearing the red bandana. Mind you, this is a private school and I'm like 8 years old. Like, I don't know. My mom worked in the sheriff's department. So I had no idea about nothing. Like, she wouldn't let me be like repping some set, had I known about it. But as soon as I pulled up to school, as soon as I walked in the classroom, they started roasting me. They called me half bald. They like every name, kids are mean. But it was then when I realized that I can't be that way around this group of people. I can't be that person. And at the time including myself, there was one other mixed kid in my class, who their parents are super cool. They were Black and Jewish. Mom was Black and dad was the Jewish guy. Super, like, I loved her, right? And so I was like looking at her for like help or whatever. She looking at me like I'm crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? So it was at that moment where I realized, like, oh, people don't like this. Like I was shamed for looking that way. I was shamed for being proud to wear braids. And now, fast forward, now everybody wants to. Right. I wore overalls and Crocs before they weren't cool. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all these trends are coming back. Like, I was just too early, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, it's look, you just gotta understand, do you know what I mean? And teach your daughter that to always stand proud in who she is. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a beautiful thing. I'm so glad that you came on to the show. I'm going to give your website again because I want people, look, if you want a chance to really give to a place that makes a difference, go to storiesforsolidarity.com. You know what I mean? Because look, anything helps. They're doing a real work in the community. They really working with young people, doing some stuff. You want to, really find out what's going on with Miko yourself on Instagram. Go to @storiesforsolidarity. You know what I mean? And you get to know all about her organization, everything that she's doing. Just, give her a shout out. Let her know that you appreciate her. Everybody likes to know. I like to know that I'm doing a good job. You feel me? Everybody likes to know that what they're doing is appreciated. So I'm letting you know I appreciate you for sure. I definitely, like I said, I salute you. I definitely think, and so I want to say to anyone out there, look, we got another comment here from another, look at this. These people love you. I'm trying to tell you, watch. These people, you think
I love
these
y'all.
People, look, they said, be you. They'll adjust. And if they don't, they ain't the people for you.
Yes.
They also said, you have a beautiful soul and heart and have a purpose to serve everyone. Thank you for doing God's work. So,
thank you.
That's on behalf of my folks here at the Revolution. You under dig. And so if there's anything before we go, because this show goes by super fast, if there's anything before we go you'd like to say, to whether it's a shout out, a thank you, an encouragement to young people, is there anything you'd like to say in parting?
Yeah, just live your truth. We have our whole lives to worry about how other people perceive us, and it took me 25 years to own my truth, and now I'm sitting here on your show. You know what I mean? And I'm doing things that serve other people as well as myself, and able to create other opportunities for people beyond just me. Like, you can lead a whole group of people if you're willing and strong enough to be vulnerable and own it. Good, bad, ugly, ratchet, bougie, nasty, whatever it is, just own it. Would probably be what I'd say. And also, if you do want to get involved in like mutual aid, the People's Coalition, they run a Comrades Classroom podcast. And they do like free political ed, free, revolutionary work. They go over teachings of like Fred Hampton and all types of super, super cool stuff. And that's down over by y'all. So just thank you for your time.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. And I just want to remind everybody that, here's the thing. It don't matter what you was yesterday. What matters what you is today. We've all made a lot of mistakes in life. We've all, hit and miss, right? Like, we've missed the mark from time to time, but the key is that we're constantly trying to, not just evolve, but revolve. We're trying to revolutionize ourselves. And so just like this young lady right here, you can start off in a situation where there might be some fears or insecurities, but you could turn into a really amazing lioness. So, you know what I mean? So with that being said, on behalf, Melion has some technical difficulties. That's why she dropped out, y'all. And Cherie Marlene was doing her thing. So on behalf of myself, on behalf of Melion and Cherie Marlene, I want to remind y'all, as I always do, reach for your best, reach for success, but most of all, reach for God, because God is love and love is everything. We're going to be back tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. And as we get out of here, this is my favorite Vietnamese singer, showing that love right here, this tweet. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. It's the Revolution Radio Show.
Keep watching, phone calling, but I'm thinking about you. Ain't no stopping, we keep rocking. I said I got options, but I'm choosing on you. If you're really down the road, then we can ride out. I don't wanna wait, so make your mind up. I wanna get closer, got me pushing up on you. Make it last a little longer. Take it off and put it on you.
Oh my.